I don't know why my mom hates you. That quiet line from Missy to Audrey in Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 lands harder than any argument, insult, or confrontation the show has delivered so far. It's not dramatic. It's not loud. But it might be the most honest and devastating moment in Audrey's entire villain arc because it comes from a child who isn't trying to win, manipulate, or control anyone. Missy is just saying what everyone else has been dancing around. And in that moment, Audrey is exposed. Up until this point, Audrey's behavior could still be defended depending on perspective. Overbearing mother. Protective parent. Someone who means well but goes too far. That single sentence strips away all of those excuses. When even Missy, an outsider to Mandy's family dynamics, can sense hostility without understanding its origin, it becomes clear that Audrey's actions are no longer subtle and they are no longer justifiable. What makes the line so powerful is that Missy isn't accusing Audrey of anything directly. She doesn't say Audrey is cruel. She doesn't say Audrey is wrong. She simply acknowledges the emotional reality in the room. Hate exists here. Tension exists here. And no one has been brave enough to name it out loud until now. Missy functions as the moral mirror of the scene. She has no history with Audrey, no long-standing resentment, no need to take sides. That neutrality makes her observation devastatingly credible. If Missy can feel the hostility, then Audrey's behavior has crossed the line from family disagreement into something deeply unhealthy. This moment also reframes Audrey's entire Season 2 arc. Audrey may not think she hates Georgie, but hate doesn't always look like shouting or cruelty. Sometimes it looks like constant doubt, like undermining confidence, like questioning someone's worth at every turn. Audrey's behavior toward Georgie has been consistently dismissive, condescending, and quietly hostile, even when wrapped in polite language. Missy's line confirms what the audience has already begun to feel. Audrey doesn't just disapprove of Georgie. She resents him. And that resentment isn't really about Georgie at all. Audrey's villain turn is rooted in fear. Fear of losing control. Fear of becoming irrelevant. Fear of watching Mandy build a life that no longer revolves around her. Georgie represents all of that fear in human form. He is proof that Mandy chose someone else's influence over Audrey's. Every success Georgie has threatens Audrey's authority, and every mistake gives her justification to tighten her grip. Missy unknowingly punctures Audrey's self-image in that scene. Audrey likely sees herself as rational, protective, and justified. Missy sees something much simpler: animosity that doesn't make sense. And when hate doesn't make sense to a child, it usually means it was never reasonable to begin with. The brilliance of the scene lies in Audrey's response, or lack of one. There's no clean defense. No clever comeback. Because how do you argue with emotional truth? Audrey can rationalize her actions all she wants, but Missy has already named the consequence. Her behavior feels like hatred to the people around her. This is the moment Audrey fully becomes the villain, not because she does something new, but because her existing behavior is finally acknowledged out loud. It also strengthens Missy's role in the show. She's often written as observant, emotionally intelligent, and quietly perceptive, and this line proves it. Missy sees patterns adults ignore. She senses emotional undercurrents others normalize. And she says what others are too polite or afraid to say. For Georgie, that line is quietly validating. He's spent much of the season questioning whether he's imagining Audrey's hostility or overreacting to it. Hearing Missy say it out loud confirms that he's not crazy. The problem isn't him being sensitive, it's Audrey being hostile. For Mandy, the line is even more painful, because it forces her to confront the reality that her mother's behavior isn't just affecting her marriage, it's noticeable to outsiders. It's shaping how people see her family. Audrey's control is no longer private. It's public, and that makes it impossible to ignore. What makes Audrey dangerous as a villain isn't malice, it's denial. She likely believes she's protecting Mandy. She likely believes Georgie deserves scrutiny. But intent doesn't erase impact. Missy's line proves the impact has already been felt, absorbed, and named. This is also where Georgie and Mandy's first marriage shows real emotional maturity. Instead of turning Audrey into a one-note antagonist, the show lets a child reveal the truth. There's no shouting match, no dramatic monologue, just an honest observation that lands like a verdict. Audrey's silence in that moment speaks volumes. Because deep down, she probably knows Missy is right. The tragedy of Audrey's villain arc is that it's self-inflicted. No one forced her into this role. She wasn't pushed. She wasn't excluded. She chose control over connection, authority over empathy. And now, even children can feel the cost of that choice. "I don't know why my mom hates you" isn't just a line. It's a mirror Audrey can't look away from. It confirms that whatever Audrey thinks she's doing, the emotional truth of her behavior has already been written into the room. And once a child can see it, there's no pretending it isn't real. That moment doesn't just define Audrey's Season 2 arc. It locks it in. Because villains aren't always the loudest people in the room. Sometimes, they're the ones whose quiet hostility is so constant that even a kid can feel it and finally say it out loud.